Yes, here we are. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at your whereabouts. We take a look at the news. We take a look at ways to connect with each other, with culture as it relates to Mexico, and our lives as they relate to Puerto Vallarta, the city that we call home. And today we have all kinds of lovely stuff to share. And of course, I promised you a little exploration of a Mexican culinary treat, which is the huauzontle. And we're going to talk about that in a little while. But first, let me dive into our news. And we start with Mayor-elect Luis Munguia, who continues to reach out to other rulers in the vicinity. This time around, he met with Bahía de Banderas Mayor-elect Héctor Santana to lay down the foundation for what will hopefully be a collaborative relationship once both begin their administration later on this year. There is no specific outcome of the meeting mentioned in the article, but it is nice to see that Munguia is prepping for what's to come. There is a saying that translates into don't do good deeds that look like bad deeds. Recently married interim mayor Jose Martinez Gil has just given Angel Lopez Ventura, his brand spanking new brother-in-law, a hefty job at City Hall attached to a hefty salary. Of course, this decision has raised eyebrows among critics that call it nepotism. In a recent interview, Mayor Martinez Gil was questioned about this, and he simply replied, well, he's not my relative, he's my wife's relative, so I don't see a problem with hiring him. So, is it nepotism? Is it what? You tell me. And I want to let you know that Mexico's Association of Real Estate Professionals, also known as AMPI, has issued an alert regarding the increasing number of real estate frauds going on nationwide, and Puerto Vallarta is no exception. In a recent summit that took place here in town, representatives of the organization added that in Puerto Vallarta, the most common type of real estate fraud has to do with vacation rentals, which makes sense to me. AMPI recommends, of course, appealing to or working with properly certified real estate professionals for any type of real estate-related endeavor here in Puerto Vallarta, and other practical tips are contained within the article. I forgot to change the image for this other news item, but it has to do with how prepared is the city for the rain season, and the answer is the city is not prepared yet. And this has to do with the fact that city workers continue to clean water drain canals and river streams throughout the city that are full of debris that has accumulated for the past few months. The thing to take away from this information is if you live in any areas where floods are bound to occur and you live on a first or ground level story, make sure that you take proper precautions. And if you've recently moved to a place like that, well, do know that it is always a good idea to check in with your neighbors to make sure that you are not going to run into problems wherever you live. And another concern during the rainy months, of course, are the landslides that commonly take place along Highway 200 South. There are other landslides that happen on the highway that heads towards Mascota, but these are not usually as severe because the highway that heads south of Puerto Vallarta is a lot more narrow. Now, the bad news about this is that there is no way to know ahead of time when a landslide has occurred. So here at Coffee and Headlines, we do try to keep an eye on these news, and we share them as soon as we hear about any incidents that might become or might turn into a traffic jam if you're heading south. Now let's take a quick look at the weather just to see what's going on there. But first, a quick look at my last reminder of my Mambo event, which takes place tomorrow. Have a look. In next week's music appreciation presentation, titled Mambo Madness, we take a look at mambo, a genre of Cuban music pioneered in the late 1930s and later popularized in the big band style by Pérez Prado. You will discover how the music became a dance craze in Mexico and the United States until it was dethroned by cha-cha-cha. As usual, we will rely on video and audio selections to tell the story of this music, which has had a major impact around the world. The meeting is on Thursday, July 11 at the Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work on Huauzontles Street at 5 p.m. The music will be hot, and tickets are already available for purchase at the front desk, but rest assured, we will enjoy the experience in air-conditioned comfort. Hope to see you there, and thank you for spreading the word. And now let's take a quick look at the weather. It is 28 degrees right now. Humidity is at 86%. Snarky Weatherman says, rain stopping in 14 minutes. You can stop loading your loved ones onto that life raft. Well, we should consider ourselves fortunate that we don't run into those types of situations here in Puerto Vallarta. Our capital city, Guadalajara, has been less fortunate in the past few days. But here we have 28 degrees right now, humidity at 86%, and our weather forecast for today says we're going to have rain in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 43%, a high of 30, and a low of 25. Then tomorrow, Thursday, scattered thunderstorms are possible throughout the day with a chance of rain of 74%, a high of 29, and a low of 25. And then on Friday, we'll have overcast skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 73%, a high of 31, and a low of 24. Moving right along with other announcements, support for Hotel Mercurio employees continues with another fundraising event taking place this Saturday at 7 p.m. at the Quale Cultural Center. The event will feature several local entertainers, all donating their talents to keep you entertained and to raise money for a good cause. Tickets are 200 pesos and all proceeds will go directly to the employee fund. I also, hello. I also want to let you know that local authorities have just announced a food festival that will take place this coming Sunday at Parque Hidalgo from 2 to 8 p.m. This is titled Sabores de Vallarta or Vallarta Flavors. The event will feature 12 restaurants and 11 additional beverage and dessert businesses. This is not a free event, but good prices are to be expected for the 2,500 or so people that organizers expect to attract. What's the matter, Luna? Mama's working. Not now. Come on, just come up here. For more information on this event, there is now a Facebook event that is associated with it, and this, of course, will be included in the show notes as always. I was preparing my show notes after yesterday's broadcast when I received a timely message from the nice folks at El Rey Lounge de Versalles indicating that they had just created a Facebook event for their upcoming drag brunch. So I shared it yesterday in the show notes and I will share it again today. Now we know that tickets for the event are 500 pesos per person, and this includes brunch and a welcome mimosa. I know that I'm going, and just in case you're not curious enough, it's nice to know that the nice folks from the venue, El Rey Lounge, are going to join me this afternoon in the spotlight to tell us more about how they came about with the decision to have a drag brunch and why we should not miss it. Of course, even though it's still a month away, I already published information about my first music appreciation event for the month of August. This is going to be called Soundscapes of Serenity, in which we will explore the origins and evolution and healing power of ambient music. Of course, this will be after Mambo Madness, which is today. And of course, after my birthday celebration, Notes from the Heart, which will take place on Thursday, July 25th. We'll be talking more about these two events in the coming days. And finally, I mentioned Huauzontles yesterday as part of Oculto's upcoming public dinner featuring Puebla cuisine. And of course, I asked you if you knew about this wonderful edible bush. Yes, it is a bush. And several of you mentioned that you had not heard about it. So we're going to talk about Huauzontles. I am blocking the spelling, so let me get out of the way, at least for this photograph. This is what Huauzontle, the plant, looks like. Doesn't look very edible, does it? But you see, it's the tip of the branches that we are concerned about. It is called Chenopodium nutelliae, and it is a species of edible plant native to Mexico, commonly known as huauzontle. This term comes from the Nahuatl huautli, which means amaranth, and zontli, which means hair. Others know the plant as Aztec broccoli, but I've never heard it named that before. In all my life, I've known it as huauzontle. Do know, however, that in Aztec times, even though you may not have heard about it, huauzontle and amaranth were the fourth most important crops after maize, beans, and chia. Now, in this photo, we are looking at the tips of the branches, which are the edible parts. They look a lot like baby broccoli, although the stems are much thinner. And the way you go about preparing them, or actually the most common way to prepare them, is you take these branches, you stuff them with slices of cheese, and you cover them with egg batter, you deep fry them, and then you serve them with a tomato-based sauce. It is an absolutely yummy vegetarian dish, most commonly enjoyed close to Mexico City because it's very popular in Mexico City, in Puebla, and also in Morelos. But the fun about this plant is how you eat it. You see, The stems are hard and chewy, so you really don't want to eat them. Now, you can try to remove the edible parts with a fork, but really, that is not the way to go about it. The way to go about it is you have to get messy and you have to get your fingers involved because, if you just try to remove some of the edible stuff with your fork, you will not succeed. What you do is you take the branches, you pass them through your teeth, and you let your teeth do the work. And it is messy, but boy, is it delicious and is it fun. So this, my friends, is how you eat huauzontles. I think you don't see them more commonly here in Puerto Vallarta because they're not very popular. They're not user friendly. They're not well known, but they are absolutely delicious. And I can't wait for us to learn more about how they're going to be prepared in Carmen's upcoming special dinner, which we will hear about hopefully not today in the spotlight, but next week. And speaking of spotlight, let us switch over to our chit chat mode. But first, a little plug for the spotlight. And we have good afternoons and we have good mornings from friends and all over the place. I love it. Thank you so very much for those. Kathy says 4 more days and I'm back at my second home in Puerto Vallarta. Good for you. May the trip be uneventful. Let's see what else we have. Boom, 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 boom. Thank you very much. I like orange. Thank you very much for that comment, Barbara. Logan poses an important question. Where did all the rain go? That's a great question. It's been really, really warm. And last night I couldn't sleep well. It was either the heat or the mosquitoes or my overactive brain. Let's see. Alan says 76 days to Mexico excursion. This is good. Excellent news. I love counters. Let's see what else. There's a queue. We have been out of town a few days, but I hope you had a wonderful birthday. Thank you very much for that, Sherry. I had a lovely pre-birthday weekend, and I had a lovely birthday dinner on the night of my birthday. Thank you very much for thinking of me. Let's see what else we have. There's a queue. What areas will the Mayan train serve? The Mayan train project serve. This would be great for the outlining areas and possible jobs. We've covered the Mayan train quite extensively in the past, Laura. And all information about the train and the tracks and the routes can easily be found online. It's a very extensive circuit throughout the Yucatan Peninsula. Let's see. Luisa says, I thought huauzontlles were a bird. I'm sad to disappoint, but it is a bush. It is a bush. And yes, Bill, they look like broccoli, and they are so yummy. I just love them. What kind of vitamins have? What? What kind of vitamins have?
¿Qué es eso? No entiendo.
I don't understand the
¿Qué
question.
pasa? No entiendo.
Yeah, I don't understand. If you're talking about huauzontlets, I have no idea, but they are nutritious, I am sure. Let's see. Pamela's coming to the Mambo presentation tomorrow. I love it. We might be able to shake our shimmy a little bit if we feel so inclined. If anybody is going, let me know. And this, my friends, brings us to the end of today's broadcast. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for making me hungry doing all this research about the huauzontle. Now it is time, of course, to put the finishing touches of my Mambo presentation and, of course, to get ready for the spotlight this afternoon at 4 o'clock. If you have nothing else to do, please feel free to join us at 4 o'clock to learn more about the first drag brunch north of the Rio Cuale. Or at least I continue to say, I think it's the first one. If I'm wrong, please let me know. Have a good day, and I'll see you soon.